So welcome back, everybody. This is J.R. Flatter, and this is The Secrets of Leadership Coaching. My distinguished guest this week is Ms. Kimberly Young. And Kimberly, I'll let you introduce yourself, if you don't mind.
Hi, JR. Glad to introduce myself. Thanks for having me. I am currently my job title is the Executive Director for Continuing and Professional Studies at the University of Mary Washington. What that means is that I am responsible for adult learning and the adult learning experience at UMW. We're traditionally an undergraduate institution, but we do have graduate programs, adult degree completion, certificates, and seminars to help people to either credential for the job that they have or prepare learn new skills for a job that they aspire to have. And that's my role here. My role prior to here was in Kansas City, and I was the founding director and executive director for learning, also for adults in business and professional careers across the region in Kansas City through the University of Missouri, Kansas City. I came to academia from corporate, and I was a consultant and a national marketing director after that. When I think about how my career kind of sums up, I came from a broad business background into hospitality and then into academia. So if you look at that, it seems like very disparate parts. But I like to think of it as it has been a journey really all about facilitating learning, growth, and development among professionals. And so that, and at this point, has brought me to the role that I'm in. I've learned a lot along the journey and have been able to not only create programs that have and manage people and lead people in a way that has helped them to grow and develop, but also I've been able to develop employees and develop professionals who started their careers in school, worked for me, and then moved on to become productive employees in other organizations.
Wow, that's an impressive background. So you mentioned adult learners. How do adults learn differently than perhaps K through 12?
Yeah, so there's absolutely a difference. Adults, we bring a lot of experience to the classroom and to any engagement that we have as adults. We're bringing obviously a lot more years of living than our K through 12 counterparts, right? Children. And so with that experience, there's an expectation that we're able to share and build on that experience. So as educators, educators as well as leaders in business, there's really an onus on us to draw on that experience. And that takes us across everything from diversity and inclusion. That's part of bringing all of those experiences and recognizing all of those experiences so that we can harness that experience to benefit the learner and also to benefit the organization. That is probably the biggest difference between that K-12 versus adult. It's that expectation of participation, that bringing of experience, and the onus on the educator or the leader to draw all of that together and build upon it and allow the learner to participate in that building and that synthesis.
Great. So our peers are our listeners and viewers. So educators, leaders, leader developers, coaches. What advice or what information should they be looking at? What advice might you offer to them?
I think I'm going to share with you advice that has been kind of my meditation as a leader over the last several months through 2020 and into 2021. And that is to recognize what is mine to do And so if it's advice for others, recognize what is yours to do and do it.
Mhm.
And what that means, kind of inherent in that, is that there are activities and tasks and goals that belong to others, whether those others report to you or their peers or their other places in the organization. Really being intentional about looking systematically at what's going on and what initiatives need to take place, what change needs to take place, and identifying and owning what is yours to do and doing that, and then empowering others to do what's theirs to do. Because if we grab everything and try to do it, one, we burn out.
Mhm.
Two, we are not effective. We couldn't possibly be effective at doing every single thing, right? And then three, we don't grow, develop, and motivate and empower other people to move into those leadership positions and those leadership capacities. So that would be the advice.
Great. So how about somebody who's thinking about getting in a job like you have? What kind of skills and experiences do you need to do the work that you're doing?
Agility, kind of being adaptable, right?
Mhm.
It's that consulting mindset and background, because really, when you think about it, the job of the coach, the job of the leader, regardless of the industry, at a certain point, I mean, you and I definitely know this, we teach it, right? It is about identifying kind of the context that we're operating in, um, really picking out what needs to happen or where we can set goals. And that's not always the same. It's not the same from, sometimes it's not the same from day to day, but it's certainly not the same from, 12 to 18 months, 24 months, into the future, and looking back in the past. So it's really that ability to um, adapt and to be flexible, to see order in chaos, right? And to see opportunity in chaos. And I think also from, kind of on a micro level, on an individual level, um, it's really, there is it's important to understand what you as an individual are good at, what you enjoy doing, and be honest about it, so that
Mhm.
you can surround yourself with other people who can help with those places where you're a little bit weaker, right? And you have some opportunities for improvement, but you can also really like advance yourself and the organization around the things that you are strong at and the things that you're good at. So I think it's that self-awareness, which helps us to be better leaders of others.
Mhm. Great. So I know you do some coaching where you and I are involved in a program together where we coach the fellows that we're working with on a 360 assessment. What is one of your secrets of being a good coach that you can share with us today?
Okay. So one of my secrets is probably also one of my silent works in progress, my personal works in progress.
Mm.
Um, but it's removing ourselves from the focus, right?
Mhm.
Coaching is not about ourselves as
Yeah,
coaches.
yeah.
It's about the person being coached. And contrary to all of the the thoughts in our heads about what they oh, well, you should absolutely do this. Here it's clear, this is what should happen.
Yeah.
um we it is best, my secret is to quiet that voice. I honor it, and then I quiet it down and really focus on helping the person that I'm talking to find their own voice and find their own solution.
Mm.
And that is, when I do that, they can go on to begin to trust their own voice, trust their instincts and intuition, and then they're better coaches to other people as well. But it starts with being a good coach to yourself, right? So it starts with helping them to coach themselves. So if we do a great job as coaches, the people who are being coached don't need us forever, right? They may come back to us over time, but they don't need us forever.
Yeah. Yeah. Brilliant insight. Thank you. So finally, we're building the voices that we have available for our audience. it would be great if you could provide us a couple of names of leaders, coaches, educators, anybody you think might be valuable, bring a valuable voice.
Yeah, sure. So there are three people actually who have been very instrumental in my development. One more recent, who is an amazing woman, extremely gifted in coaching, advice, mentorship. I'd really call her more of a mentor. And responded to one call and one email with a relationship. And I think that is really remarkable. And she's the president of Fairmont State University in West Virginia. I think she has incredible insight to share with others and a diverse voice. Um, the second person is who's the CEO of McClary Group. She is also an executive coach and a longtime friend and someone who has coached executives around the world and just has an incredible body of knowledge and insights that are time tested and continue to be very true. And her area of focus is on speaking up and being heard and presence. And then the third is the curator and department head of Africa, Oceania, Indigenous Americas, and Indigenous Americas at the Detroit Institute of Arts. And I met Nee at the Nelson Atkins Museum of Art when he was the visiting curator of African art as the art museum went through was undergoing kind of a re-envisioning or reimagining of our African art collection. I had the pleasure of touring the DIA with Nee, Dr. Kwakapome, while on a short trip there in Detroit, and his perspective is insightful. I learned an incredible amount about art, and I've always believed that it's important for a leader to be well-rounded, and his depth of knowledge in that area and how it helps us to be better leaders is incredible. So those would be the three that I would recommend.